foul here. This is a crowd that's ready for football.
Handling kickoff duties, Noah Rauschenberg for the Bears. Bobcats a year ago had the dangerous Jeremiah Haydale as a return man. He has since moved on to the NFL. The season is underway. And Texas State will operate from its own 25-yard line. So, Keith, again, that will give us a look at Brady McBride to start this game. 9th career start, played his best football last year down the stretch.
No question about it. I think he got benched. Then he missed some time, and then he came back. And when he came back, it looked different. You and I were covering. He just looked different. He looked more confident. Felt like he knew where he was going to go with the football. See what happens here on this first drive.
The third-year transfer out of Memphis. 17 touchdown passes a year ago against 7 interceptions, facing a very experienced Baylor defense. Texas State's first play, a run for Calvin Hill. Spins his way up to the 28 for 3 before he's gobbled up by the Baylor defense. J.T. Woods and Jalen Petrie on the tackle for the Bears.
Try to get to the outside. Pretty good blocking, great pursuit. The strength of this Baylor team is on the defensive side of the ball, no question.
And there you see the numbers for McBride over the final 3 games of the season. Did not throw an interception here. Misfires for Hill in the flat. And Texas State is faced with 3rd down and 7. And Keith, 3rd and longs were a big issue for the Bobcats a year ago.
Yeah, they had no success. If anything over 6 yards, it was very hard to convert a first down. And right here, first one of the year is 3rd and 7.
Texas State was 9th in the conference in 3rd down conversion rate a year ago. 3rd and 7 from the Texas State 27-yard line. Pass almost intercepted. Almost picked off by Terrell Bernard. McBride throwing into traffic as Texas State goes 3 and out.
Well, it's all about the timing and rhythm. You can see McBride that time a little bit off center. Coach Spavinaw immediately grabs him coming to the side, puts his hand over his back and says, hey, just calm down. Because what happens early in games, Brent, is there are times you're so amped up, you try to force the issue. Let the plays come to you. Don't try to force the issue.
And now the Bobcats tasked with punting to Treston Ebner, one of the more dangerous return men of the country. Coach Spavinaw saying the Bobcats have got to punt it away from him. Seamus O'Kelly punts it to him. Ebner hit right away and taken down by Zion Childress-No. Jalen Morris, a very impressive special teams tackle.
Well, he was the gunner from the right side, and what an outstanding play. Morris, the leading tackler in 2020, you just look at that scenario right there, and he comes down and shows you involved in special teams.
All right, Keith, so Charlie Brewer, starting quarterback for the Bears the last 4 seasons. He's now at Utah. The new starting quarterback for Baylor, we talked about him earlier. Gary Bohannon brings a different skill set to the position.
No question. He's a guy that can use his feet. He does have a tremendous arm. He's not as accurate as Brewer. They're going to use him more vertical in the passing game and his feet.
From his zone 34. Bohannon off the play fake. Rolls out. Dump sack completes. R.J. Sneed breaks away. Sneed inside of midfield. Good first play for the Bears offense.
When you look at Sneed, he is a big, strong wide receiver. And he just, it's 6'1", 205 pounds, and he just carries tacklers with him.
18 yards for R.J. Sneed, second team all Big 12 a year ago. Here's a run for Ebner, and what is a wide zone offense with new offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes. Also calls it the reliable, violent offense. We expect to see a lot of stretch plays for the Bears.
Yeah, they have wide splits on the offensive front. They do a lot of zone stretch blocking and allow their running backs to use their vision and find that seam, and they're going to put pressure. Not a rapid fire offense though.
Jeff Grimes, the third offensive coordinator for Baylor in the last 3 seasons. Ebner, stretch to the right this time. Ebner's got the first down inside the Texas State 40. And Baylor's offense so far has been impressive.
Yeah, the question was, there's so many R's. When you look at the 2D, they listed starter at each one of the offensive linemen or an R. So they're trying to get continuity, trying to find those best 5 guys up front on the offensive line for the Bears.
During offseason and fall camp, Bohannon put an emphasis on how to better read coverages and learning this new offense with a new offensive coordinator. First out for the 34. Heavy dose of Ebner. Lassoed in traffic. Second effort. Ebner tough. Hard-nosed running. Up to the 30 on a gain of 4.
Well, that's one of the better backs in the Big 12 is Ebner. He comes off the field here, but he is difficult one-on-one to bring down. And boy, they had him stopped for no gain, and he ends up finding a way to get 4 yards.
Ebner a career low in yards per carry last year, but did play through an ankle injury and what was an injury marred 2020 for Baylor. On second down, this is Abram Smith. Cuts it up to his right. Fumbles the ball. Live in the 20. And Texas State recovers. Savion Patton recovers the fumble for Texas State. Baylor's offense a year ago, Keith, did not put the ball on the ground much. Early turnover here tonight.
Well, it's his contact, first carry of the year. As he comes in the game, does Smith, and on the way to the outside, good tackle. Helmet on the ball pops out. A big break right there. Now second offensive possession for the Bobcats here.
Just 9 turnovers for Baylor's offense
that's
year.
Impressive. This is their first non-conference game in 2 years.
For the Bears, that's right.
Yes.
It's been more than 600 days. In fact, for Dave Aranda, this is his first non-conference game to coach in as Baylor's head man. From the 20, McBride off the play fake. Pass picked off, back to the end zone for the touchdown. Touchdown, Baylor. J.T. Woods, a 20-yard pick 6.
Well, they caught him in a corner blitz. You can see the blitz coming from the outside. McBride sees that. His hot receiver is to the outside. He just underthrows it a little bit and just steps in front. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. And J.T. Woods just steps right in front and takes it to the house. 2 quick turnovers here in the first quarter. One of them has led to 6.
Woods was tied for the Big 12 lead in interceptions last year with 3. Veteran player playing near his hometown, hailing from Cibolo Steele High School. That has the first points of the year for Baylor. A pick 6 for the veteran J.T. Woods. The point after from John Mayers. Baylor is on top 7-0. That veteran Baylor defense striking first in St. Marcus. Baylor on top early, 7-0.
7-0 Baylor won, 11:53 to go first quarter. Well, Brady McBride sees the star, the bandit, the nickelback coming on a blitz. Your read when you read that, Brent, is, all right, we got to go that direction. But they are really well designed as they brought the safety down inside on the slot receiver with the nickel blitz, and Woods just steps right in front. It's a read. As a quarterback, you see it. That's the direction you got to go. Just got it underneath, and Woods took it to the house.
Again, this is a very experienced secondary for head coach Dave Aranda. Between the 5 starters in this defense at secondary, 177 career games played. And J.T. Woods, a veteran, on the pick 6. Baylor on top. Early stages in the opening quarter. Rauschenberg's kick again into the end zone. So if you're Brady McBride, now Keith, and the Bobcats, you have to have a short memory.
Yeah, you gotta put that away. Yes, I read it right. You can go back and tell Coach I read it right, but there are times when you read it, then you got to understand the defense is going to try other things to you here. It's all about first down for me. Brant, for this offense, they need to get some continuity in their offensive line. If they can get something going and some positive yards and get ahead of the chains on first down, it will make it a lot easier.
Baylor forced at least 1 takeaway in all but 1 game last year. 4th in the Big 12 in turnovers forced. After the pick, the Bobcats go to work It's a run for Caleb Twyford and stopped for no gain. Tackle made by Ashton Logan. Caleb Twyford was somebody who lost his job a year ago, running back. He's earned it back.
He's really had a great fall camp and getting an opportunity here. Third possession for the Bobcats. Again, no yardage on first down. Makes it very difficult.
Now for the 25. McBride out in the flat to the tight end. Caluette spilled over at the 30. Tackle in space made by Kalen Barnes. The Bobcats want to get back to utilizing the tight ends in the passing game this year.
Well, that is a very good play right there in design. But it's, again, a more manageable 3rd and 5 situation here, but they need a first down now.
So far, Texas State's 2 possessions, a 3 and out, and an interception. McBride from the 30. Heaves that one complete at the sticks. Good tackle in space. Raleigh Tejada stops Jabin Banks about a yard short of the first down.
That's an outstanding play. What a tackle by Tejada. As you're in a scenario right there where he had 5 yards to make one and just came in and made a great tackle. How about this? Coach Spavano right off the bat here on 4th down.
Texas State just 10 of 26 on 4th downs last year. They need a yard. Twyford gives them the yard. Big gamble from Jake Spavital pays off as the Bobcats keep this possession alive.
What have we talked about all training camp when we had the opportunity to see this club? Is he talked about continuity and getting better on the offensive front. That's putting faith in your offensive line, knowing what you've seen all fall camp.
Third-year head coach Jake Spavital just turned 35 years old on May 1st, 3rd youngest head coach in the country. Backside screen for Caluette at the 40, 45, and a big play for the Bobcats. Seth Caluette takes it all the way to the Baylor 42.
Really good design. All the momentum to the wide side of the field. Everybody moving that direction. Defense comes that direction. Stop, throw back to the tight end. You talked about wanting to get him involved. He's been involved.
That's a gain of 20 yards. The Bobcats' biggest play from scrimmage so far tonight. McBride, pump fake, will run it, and stacked up.
All right, folks, identical same play, Brant, that the pick six was on. Corner blitz was coming. He fakes it this time and puts it down and gets something out of it. You fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Coming off the field, there's a helmet came off. That is Apu Ika. Baylor has 10 returning starters on defense. Ika is the exception, but a big one. 6'4", 350, first-year transfer from LSU. And he's going to be a big factor, literally, for the Bears this season. 2nd and 9. Shovel out to Twyford. And cannot make Christian Morgan miss in the backfield. He'll lose a yard. Christian Morgan and J.T. Woods are the Baylor safeties. The two have played together for so long, Keith, they claim to know what the other is thinking.
Well, you're right. They don't have to look at each other. They can feel where each one is on the field. This is an outstanding defense, maybe one of the best defenses in the state of Texas and all the colleges in the state of Texas.
8th play of the drive coming up.
Timeout here.
Taken by Texas State. Timeout comes with 8 minutes and change left here in the opening quarter. Baylor on top 7-zip. Their defense has them on top early as the Bobcats call for timeout. And you see the 3rd down numbers for the Bobcats last year when faced with 3rd and long. A 21% conversion rate. Out of the timeout, 3rd and 10. McBride rolls out, stepping up, slinging it. Downfield for Drew Jackson. Can't hold on. Drops an issue a year ago for the former Washington State Cougar And that one cost Texas State a first down.
Well, I tell you what, it would have been a magnificent catch if he can come down with it, but what a throw by McBride that time. He had to go over a defender on the outside, laid it up. It gets in your hands, most receivers will tell you, I got to catch it.
The sophomore out of Soxie, Texas, can't hold on. The Bobcats are now punting for the second time. Ebner back at the 12. O'Kelly gets it away. Ebner lets it get behind him. And their penalty markers, this could be roughing the punter against Baylor. Flags back where O'Kelly punted the football.
Yeah, is it running in or roughing? That's the question right here. Waiting, here comes the call. Personal foul, automatic.
They get Matt Jones on the penalty. And Texas State catches its first big break of the game.
Yeah, it's one of those scenarios. You're only rushing a couple of guys, and you just got to lay off of him. And there was definitely contact. I wasn't sure it was enough to be called roughing, but it was.
Moments ago, saw a shot of offensive coordinator Jacob Peeler in the second season. Big reason behind the offensive turnaround for the Bobcats a year ago. Does a lot of great work with wide receivers. Some of the receivers he has coached in years past include A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, and Elijah Moore.
That's a pretty good list.
In the NFL. After the penalty, first down for the 28. McBride back to throw against the pressure. Rolls out, spins to his right. McBride extends the play. Finally throws incomplete with a flag in the secondary.
Anytime your quarterback gets loose, and McBride does it as good as anybody in the country of getting away from the rush, defenders are not used to holding 7, 8, 10 yards or 10 seconds of time, and you're going to get some defensive holding, and that's what it was.
Back-to-back first down penalties against Baylor. The Bears were the fourth most penalized team in the Big 12 a year ago.
Well, you got to come away with 6 here. You got 2 huge breaks if you're Texas State.
10th play of the drive coming up. Texas State's previous possession ended on a pick 6. Calvin Hill exploding to his left, and Hill slammed down the 10. Good tackle in space by J.T. Woods. The senior has the tackle to bring up second down.
Well designed, though. They overloaded the left side on a little cross buck and got Hill into the secondary before contact. Good positive yardage on first down.
Gain of 7. Bobcats in the red zone, where they had the best touchdown rate in the Sun Belt last season. McBride hands to Hill, slips one tackle, and motors forward for the first down at the 6-yard line.
Goal line offense is about offensive line. Push. This is when you look at your offensive line and say, all right, we've gotten here. Now it's up to y'all to get us in there. And on the other side, one of the best strengths for the Baylor Bears is their defensive front. You know, they have a player down here.
There is a Baylor player down. It's Riley Tejada, the senior out of Frisco, Texas. Will step aside. 7-0 Baylor in the first quarter. Looking at this Baylor defense heading into 2021, again, experienced. 10 returning starters are back. The new guy in the unit is Apu Ika, transferred from LSU. A couple of preseason all-conference elections in Terrell Bernard and Jalen Petrie. And we spoke about that experienced secondary earlier.
Is there any substitute for experience? I don't
None
think
whatsoever.
there is. I don't think you can do it. 177 starts.
Dave Aranda, a defensive background, former defensive coordinator at LSU and at Wisconsin. First and goal, Jabin Banks, the intended receiver.
Well, that's excellent coverage that time. When you get out there and you're on the island all by yourself in an island, and you just got to find a way to get it done. And tell you what, Mark Milton did a great job right there of just refusing to let the receiver loose.
So far, McBride, just 3 of 8 passing. 12th play of the drive coming up. It's already covered 69 yards. 2nd and goal. Calvin Hill shuffles ahead, and Hill stacked up. 3 Bears right there on defense. It was big Cole Maxwell, senior out of Allen High School, on the tackle to bring up 3rd down.
Big, 6'5", 295 defensive end. Now, I'm telling you, that's not a tackle. That's a defensive end out there, and he's got good speed. Huge play right here. This great drive here. You're taking advantage of some scenarios. You got to find a way to get 6 out of this right now.
13th play of the drive. 3rd and goal. McBride rolls out, looking for Barbie. Throws his way, and it's incomplete. Covered by Kalon Barnes.
Well, that's great coverage. They were trying to run a little delay, trying to, again, get it to the tight end. You talked about using the tight end. That's just good defense. Defense stepped up, did the job. You got to give the Bears a lot of credit right there. Bend, but don't break.
Play made by Barnes, senior out of Silsbee, Texas. Came to Baylor as a wide receiver. Made the defensive switch back in 2018. And now to attempt from 22 yards away is Seth Keller. Sophomore was 8 of 9 on field goals last year. And able to hit it from 22 yards out. The Bobcats' first points of 2021, a field goal. 7-3 Baylor with 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Look back at the drive, Keith. 14 plays, 72 yards, aided by 2 massive penalties against Baylor.
No question that the roughing the kicker was the big one, and then the defensive holding right behind it. But you got to give the Bears a lot of credit in that defense. It's a veteran group on defense. They got backed up. They found a way to rise to the occasion and force the field goal attempt. On the other side for the Bobcats, they at least got some points on their 3rd possession, taking advantage of that. See if their defense can come out and make a stop. And for the Bears, they really were in the flow offensively, but then their turnover stopped them. This is only the 2nd possession they're going to have in the game.
Texas State trying to win a season opener for the first time in 4 years. It was nearly 9 years ago to the day that the Bobcats ushered in their FBS era. This is their 10th year as members of the FBS. They won that first game over Houston, 30-13, despite the fact the Cougars were 34.5-point favorites going into that game. Ebner back to return. Had 2 kick return touchdowns in last year's opener against Kansas.
Well, kicking in this direction, I would not be surprised to see a pooch kick, something up high and short, maybe try to force a fair catch. Ebner is a real threat in the return game, both in punt and kickoffs. 2nd
team All-American. In that regard, a year ago, was the Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year in 2020, the 2nd Baylor player ever to earn that honor. Jacob Bates kicks off from the 35. Ebner will let it go behind him.
What a kick into this breeze. That's a good stiff breeze out of the south. Got it into the end zone.
And that will bring out Bohannon and the offense for their 2nd possession tonight. Gary Bohannon trying to join Bryce Petty as the only Baylor quarterbacks over the past 20 years to make their first career starts and win them in a season opener. Petty doing it in 2013.
And away from McLean Stadium as well.
Kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback. Baylor starts their drive. First down is 10 from their own 25-yard line.
Bohannon's only attempted one pass so far tonight, an 18-yard completion. Jet sweep to the outside, and Texas State sniffs it out. Good tackle by Braden Stringer on the running play.
It's good to see him back in the lineup for a Bobcat fan, and what he brings to the table. An excellent tackler. Stayed at home that time on the jet sweep.
Monterey Baldwin on the carry for the Bears. A team that scored just 23 points per game last year. 10 points per game fewer than 2019. Abram Smith fumbled his last carry. Holds on to the football here, but now Baylor faced with 3rd and long.
First time we're really going to see Bohannon in a scenario, Brent, where he's got to throw the football. I mean, you're not going to run it here on 3rd and 7 at this point. See if there's not something defensively. The Bobcats show him something different as they come trips to the wide side of the field.
Texas State had issues getting off the field last year. 2nd worst 3rd down defense in the Sun Belt. Opponents converting nearly half the time. Bohannon facing the blitz. Hit as he throws, high but caught. But
Good
short
tackle.
of the first down. Zion Childress, the tackle for the Bobcats, along with Michael LeVetz. And Baylor on 4th down. We'll see what they do here.
Got to give a lot of credit to Gary Bohannon that time. He stood in there. He knew he was going to get popped, Brent. The blitzer coming free right in his face, able to deliver the football. Hey, you go for it 4th down, I can too. That's what the Bears are saying.
Baylor had 12 4th down conversions last year. Bohannon hands it off. And the Bear tailback fighting just enough for the first down. That will move the sticks. Baylor's offensive line, as Abram Smith was on the carry there for Baylor. Revamps in the offseason. They added a new offensive line coach as well. This was a big area of concern last year for Dave Aranda between injuries and COVID issues. The offensive line was a mess in 2020.
Yeah, he told us this week when we had the conversation with him, he said, we're looking for continuity. We're looking for the ability to consistently being able to run the football as they go deep that time, just out of reach. Shows you the arm strength of Bohannon right there. But getting back to that point, every football team, Brand, if you're going to have success, those 5 guys up front have got to get the job done if you're going to be good offensively.
They added a big transfer, Grant Miller at right guard, a transfer from Vanderbilt. His dad, former Baylor Bear himself, and later played in the NFL. Bohannon on 2nd and 10. New quarterback, new offensive coordinator. So we will see how smoothly Baylor operates tonight. Here's Ebner breaking tackles. Treston Ebner. Good 2nd effort. Up to the 46 on a gain of 9.
I tell you what, one guy have a really difficult time with Ebner. Boy, they had him surrounded. He lowers his shoulders, drives with his legs, makes it a very manageable 3rd down.
We've seen Ebner running between the tackles, not typically his strength. We expect to see him more as a pass catcher out in space. Baylor 0 of 1 on 3rd downs in this game. How about the I formation? Running play. 1st down, Abram Smith. Lunging ahead of the 47 to move the chains for Baylor.
That's old-fashioned football right there. Just power, 2 tight ends, full back, and just gets in there and mashes enough to get it into Bobcat territory.
Smith primarily played on defense last year and played well at linebacker. We'll have an update on Riley Tejada's status from Coral here in a moment. 1st down, running play, no, play fake. In the flat for R.J. Sneed. And tackled at the 42. All right, Coral, Riley Tejada, what do you know?
Yeah, guys, he went down earlier with a left knee injury. He's been up here with the trainer, stretching it out, walking around. He even got a little jog going. I talked to the head trainer, and he said we can expect to see him back. He just needed a little break to make sure he was good to go.
Thank you, Coral. And Tejada, a big part of the defense. 29 career starts. He has been on campus since 2016. Second down, Baylor at the Texas State 42. Bohannon spending a lot of time under center on this drive. Smith to his right and got tripped up by Binky Markavian Coleman for the Bobcats from his Mike linebacker spot.
Well, I tell you what, Coleman did a really nice job right there. Didn't give up on the play. Another third down. You keep forcing third downs, something's got to give at some point. Big one right here. About a minute to play here in this first quarter, which has been a very entertaining first quarter.
10th play of the drive coming up, and Baylor's getting small pieces of yardage on the play. 9 plays so far, 34 yards. Running play to the left, Smith explodes, and he's got it. Up to the 35 goes Abram Smith, 5'11", 220, out of Abilene High School.
I tell you what, he gets his shoulder square. When he does, he is a vertical runner. Squares and muscles his way for the first down there.
Effective running so far for Baylor, more than 5 yards per carry for an offense which averaged just 90 yards on the ground per game last year.
One of the things they said they were going to change in the offseason.
5th worst figure in team history. This running play doesn't yield much. Nico Isidore, all-conference defensive lineman last year for Texas State, in on the tackle, and Baylor faced with 2nd and 10.
Well, I tell you what, he's a run stopper in that defensive front for the Bobcats. First time we've really seen Baylor behind the chains here in what is a passing down for the Bears quarter.
And that'll do it for the opening quarter here from San Marcos. Baylor a pick 6 from J.T. Woods. The Bobcats a 22-yard field goal. It's 7-3 Baylor after 1. Spoke about this moments ago. Baylor again a year ago struggled to establish the run. Only 4 teams had fewer yards per game on the ground, something Baylor desperately wants to turn around this season. On top, 7-3 as we start the second quarter. Bohannon slings that complete to the 25. First down to the sticks. Catch made by Tyquan Thornton.
One of the mark him a yard short. I thought he had the sticks as well.
Now you're right, Keith. Did not quite get it. Ruled down at the 26-yard line.
Well, that shows you the arm strength of Bohannon right there. That's a 50-yard throw and an out.
You saw the rushing numbers earlier. Baylor has run the football well tonight. This are running down. Ebner, the lone setback. From the 26. Ebner to his right. Breaks a tackle. Barrels ahead. First down, Baylor, the 21.
No, that's just great vision and balance as a running back right there. Bobcats were coming with a linebacker blitz right in the hole. He had to sidestep to the outside and then found a way to duck his head and his shoulders to get that extra couple of yards in the first down.
It is a first down for Baylor. Our screen said 31 for a moment, but first down now from the 21. Long drive for the Bears. 14th play coming up. Bohannon off the play fake. Launching. End zone. Catch. Is it made? No. Ruled incomplete. Bohannon. You talked about that arm strength, Keith. Showed it off there, but receiver couldn't get his feet down.
It was a marvelous catch, but just came down. No foot in bounds. Came down out of bounds. A great pitch and catch. Now, opportunity here. Do you try to heat him up? Look for the Bobcats maybe to come with a blitz here.
That was Josh Fleeks.
Great
the intended receiver.
Effort.
Second down now for the Texas State 21. Bohannon so far, 4 of 6 passing, 39 yards. Ebner in motion. Ebner to the outside, turns the corner. Lasso from behind. One of Texas State's newcomers on defense, Troy Lethbridge Jr. And third down coming up for Baylor.
This has to come off the game. Helmet came off. Jordan Mask will have to come out of the game. So, hate to lose one of your starters, but when that helmet comes off, you've got to be off for one play.
That Texas State defense has got to be wearing down for Jake Spavital.
It's a hot day.
16th play of the drive. 3rd and 6. Bohannon, option play. Keeps it, fumbles it. Ball's loose and saved by Baylor's offensive lineman, Grant Miller. Johnny on the spot, and Baylor avoids its second turnover of the game.
Zion Childress, really nice job right there. They were running the option to the outside, and you feather it, force it to the sidelines, giving it, and he comes in and he just strips it out. Does Childress? Oh, that's it. Just gets away. That's a great job of finding the football for the offensive line, force a field goal attempt.
Ball went right through the wickets of Sione Tupou. Now for the Bears, it's Mayers to attempt from 39 yards away, the most accurate kicker in Baylor history. Left-footed kicker. This one, no good.
That doesn't happen very often.
That wasn't Mayers on the attempt that time for the Bears. That was Isaiah Hankins, the true freshman from Little Rock, Arkansas. And so Baylor's lead remains 7-3. Keith, you had the chance to talk to both coaches earlier this week about special teams.
I ask every time, don't I? And I'm just telling you, that first one of the year, you're so worried about returns. You're so worried about the snaps and the kicks and that kind of thing. And shows up right away where you feel like you should have come away with at least points. Baylor walks away empty.
I got a big crowd on hand. Expectations are a number of around 30,000 or more here tonight in Texas State's season opener. 4 times before they have drawn crowds of 30,000 plus, as this first down play is good for a couple for Caleb Twyford.
I tell you what, the south end zone is what's fun to me. There are people down there having a blast in the south end zone.
A lot of anticipation for this game, a lot of build-up and hype. So far competitive. One possession game, early stages, second quarter. McBride from the 26 to throw and completes to Chandler Spates, who breaks the tackle, and Spates to the 34 for the first down.
Well, you know you're going to get hit. When you get that quick stop, and that's exactly what he had right there, you know you're going to get hit. He adjusts his helmet. His helmet almost came off. He pushed it back down to finish the run.
Coming off a career year a year ago. Spates, a junior out of Richmond. First down from McBride of the offense. Twyford to his right, trying to find a seam. And Twyford finally lassoed down to the 38 after a short 4-yard gain. So again, Caleb Twyford 2 years ago was the team's leading rusher, started 7 games that year running back. Last year relegated to special teams, but has won his job back. Texas State, a lot of depth at the skill positions coming into 2021. Running for Twyford again to his left, finds a cutback lane. Flag is in as Twyford is walloped. Dylan Doyle the tackle, but this might come back anyway.
I think we're going to get a holding right out on the point of attack when those hands get outside.
First charged penalty of the game against Texas State.
I think this is going to be a chop back block. No, they only got him for 10. Looked like they were going for 15 there, but I thought it was a hold. Now behind the chains here.
Keith said it, hot day. At one point the temperature's over 100 here in South Texas. Second down and 16. McBride, quick strike, caught by Ashton Hawkins, the newcomer.
What a route by Hawkins that time, and a really good throw. Just steps inside a press coverage on the outside. It's called a quick read, and both McBride and Hawkins have to be on the same page. Just stepped inside, looked for the slant, made it manageable on third down.
Should know so far, Marcel Barbie, Texas State's top receiver from a year ago, held without a catch so far tonight. McBride against the blitz, steps up. McBride sidesteps and throws complete to Twyford, looking for first down yardage, and he's got it at the 45 before he's pushed out by TJ Franklin. A heavy dose of Twyford on this drive.
Yeah, you're looking at Twyford, but how about the maturity of Brady McBride now?
Yeah.
I mean, you see him moving around there. We saw him last year at times panic in that scenario. He doesn't panic, keeps his eyes downfield, pitch and catch first down.
Baylor has never lost a game to a member of the Sun Belt Conference, 10-0 all time. First down for the 45. McBride hands off to Jamil Jeter to his right, and Jeter dumped after a gain of 2. Team best 7 yards per carry a year ago. In Texas State, massive improvement in the ground game last year. Their rushing totals jumped by nearly 60 yards per game from the season prior.
Yeah, and Jeter's that guy that can be that pounder. He's the guy, he's the biggest of the 4 backs, and he's a guy that can really punish you. He gets a good forward lean, finishes his runs.
McBride trying to win his second career start tonight. On second down, Jeter again. Motors ahead and then slung back. How about that tackle in space made by Devin Neal, sophomore out of Lexington, Kentucky. And Texas State faced with third down and 6 to go.
They'll go to 4 wides here and going quickly. We haven't seen this out of Texas State in the ballgame. Ready at the line of scrimmage right now to make a move.
And you see Apu Ika check off to the sidelines. Third down. And now McBride looking back to the sidelines. Play clock at 10 seconds. Here's the blitz. McBride rolls out. McBride launching downfield. Catch is made inside the 30. Donovan Moore with his first catch of the game.
Boy, what a great job by Moore to come back to the football. He was on an out and up. Saw his quarterback in trouble. Brandt comes back to the football. And how about McBride getting outside of trouble, not panicking, and gets it down inside the 30.
Beat the coverage from Jalen Petrie. Texas State on the move. 8 play of the drive coming up. McBride. Plenty of time. Fires complete to Spates, who's out of bounds. Marked out at the 20. Texas State picking on Petrie again. Defensive back who was named as the most disruptive DB in college football coming into the season. Gain of 8 on first down. Petrie, first team All Big 12 Conference a year ago. McBride now 8 of 14 passing. From the Baylor 19, Jeter to his left at the 15-yard line. Shoved out and out of bounds at the 12. Texas State is inside the red zone.
Jeter just punishes. We talked about it. He's the big back, gets to the outside. Milton does a nice job taking him on, but another first down. Outstanding drive here after the missed field goal.
Texas State playing for its first lead of the game. Remember, McBride threw a pick 6 on Texas State's second possession. McBride, play fake, shot in the end zone. Marcel Barbie, the touchdown. Touchdown, Texas State.
Well, you said he hadn't touched the football. By the first time he does tonight, it leads to 6. Great route by Barbie. Pitch and catch for the touchdown.
Marcel Barbie, 10 touchdown catches a year ago. 7th most in the country, and the most for the program since 2008. The Bobcats engineer an 11-play drive, covering 77 yards following the missed field goal by Baylor. Keller for the point after. And it's good. Folks, we understand we're having some issues right now with our score bug. It is 10-7, Texas State, 6:41 to go here in the first half. Brady McBride, touchdown pass, Marcel Barbie. And the Bobcats have their first lead of the game over the Baylor Bears. Good news, folks. The score bug working again. Time, score, accurate. What would week one be without a few dribblings in the broadcast booth, right?
You got to get through all of them. Get ready to go, and that's exactly what the Bears are trying to do here. They would like to get something going offensively, and they've had some good drives. They just hadn't been able to finish.
Bohannon and the Bears at their own 25, trailing for the first time tonight. Abram Smith. Stuffed. Short gain of a yard.
Well, that's the second or third time, Brent, we've seen that play. Look for them to fake that and get Bohannon coming around this side out in some space. You can see that coming. They've run that play enough, and he's continued to keep the fake coming. So at some point, he's going to pull that out.
You see the play selection disparity. 16 runs so far for Baylor. 6 passes. 2nd and 9 for Bohannon from the 26. Fires complete. Thornton breaks a tackle. And finally brought down by Coleman and Leffridge. First down for the Bears on a good throw from Bohannon.
Well, it's not the lack of ability, because he's definitely got a really strong arm. You can see ball comes out of his hands, got some zip on it. And again, that's the second time in the ballgame we've seen him throw a deep out to the wide side of the field accurately and on time.
Thornton that catch. Coming off a quiet year, just 16 catches all of last season. 2 years ago was honorable mention, all Big 12, as part of an 11-win season for the Bears. Bohannon airing it out, caught by Sneed. Another strike thrown by Gary Bohannon. First down, Baylor.
That's that little play action I was talking about. He pulled it out that time, as we talked about, after running the football, trying to go vertical. He just waited. Excellent blocking by the offensive line, and that delivers a strike right there into Bobcat territory.
The Bears' top pass catcher a year ago, R.J. Sneed, has now surpassed 1,000 yards receiving. On first down, Bohannon rolls out, throws low of the target, incomplete, looking for Thornton. Some backside pressure from Isaiah Nixon brings up second down.
Yeah, Nixon disrupted that play. The reason Bohannon could not complete it is Nixon was right in his face and kept him from getting his feet under him, able to get enough on that throw. And we haven't seen the Bobcats too many times heat up Bohannon, but this is a down where you might go come after him.
The game plan for Dave Aranda was to ease Bohannon into the game tonight. Last 3 play calls, all passes. Second down, Smith, a good cut up the middle. Sione Tupou, the tackle at the 34. Abram Smith exploding for 10 yards.
That's a great trap block right in the very front. Keith, the left guard, he really did a nice job of coming over. Actually, he's playing right tackle in this formation, and boy, he got a really nice block and sprung that for the first down.
Smith has been the bell cow for Baylor so far. 9 carries, leads all Baylor players. Ebner has 6. First down for the Texas State 34. Baylor trailing for the first time. Bohannon off the play fake. Looking to go to the air. Bohannon airs it out complete. Sneed again. First down, Baylor at the sideline.
Boy, I tell you what, ball comes out of his hand really nice. This is rolling to his non-throwing side, and he comes back and just delivers a rocket in between 2 Bobcat defenders for the first down. Actually, they didn't give him the mark, so it's 2nd and short.
That's right. Marked about a half yard short. Approaching 4 minutes to go here in the half. Baylor's only touchdown, a pick 6 on defense from J.T. Woods. Bobcats bringing the pressure. Bohannon slings complete to Thornton. Michael Levette, the New Mexico transfer, doesn't let him go.
That's a good tackle. You're one-on-one with a speedy guy and a big guy and come up and make the play. It is enough for the first down to move the chains, though.
Mentioned Levette from New Mexico. A number of first-year transfers for Texas State in the secondary.
There's a bevy of them, isn't there?
Really is. Players like D.C. Williams from Vanderbilt, Leffert from Utah State, Levette from New Mexico, Eric Sutton from SMU, Chris Mills from Missouri, all in their first years at Texas State. First down, run to the right, Abram Smith. Barrels ahead for 4 more.
Well, Smith one-on-one is just so difficult. Big and strong, good stiff arm or stringer that gets him through that. Had a shot at him in the backfield, but just strong enough to muscle and get something positive there. I don't think you see the Bears changing much here. I think they're going to grind it right here. They have a load with a tight end and an H-back in there now.
Again, Baylor first-year offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes. Last year was at BYU, coaching the 3rd highest scoring offense in the country. Now at Baylor, working for Dave Aranda. Shot to the end zone for Thornton. Jaron Morris on coverage. It's now 3rd down coming up for the Bears.
Really surprised by that, Brent. They've been controlling the line of scrimmage on this drive, and then they try isolation on the outside with their big receiver. Ball was no chance to be caught in the field of play, and this Bobcat crowd now coming to their feet here. They understand this is a huge play in this first half.
2.5 to go, second quarter. 3rd down for the Bears at the Texas State 15. They need 6. Bohannon, hands off. Ebner fights forward to the 10 and a first down. Second effort, Treston Ebner. It's goal to go now for Baylor.
Well, just a great kick-out block. You get one of your H-backs to roll and get to the outside, gets a good kick-out block, and when that happens, you're going to turn it back to the inside and just muscles it now. 1st and 8, 1st and goal from the 8.
Well, we have seen some long drives in the second quarter. For Baylor, the 11th play of this drive coming up. It's covered 67 yards so far. Bohannon 4 of 6 passing so far on the drive. Baylor shifts its tight ends. Bohannon and whistles first. A timeout taken by Jake Spavital. Didn't like what he saw from his defense.
That's actually charged to Baylor.
So we'll step aside. Minute 48 left. Baylor trailing 10-7 in San Marcos.
After tonight's game, be sure to head over to City Cerveceria.
Texas State has never beaten a team from the Power 5, but they've come close over the past 15-plus years. Just last year, a heartbreaking loss to Boston College. The Eagles didn't lead until there were 3 seconds left. And also on this list, a couple of close games against Baylor in Waco in 04 and in 07.
Yeah, you just get right to that cusp and try to get it done. And look at this one. It's been a really entertaining first half. What a drive here by the Bears to try to take the lead.
Out of the timeout. It's 1st and goal for Baylor. Bohannon hands to Ebner, looking for a hole. And Ebner gobbled up at the 7-yard line. Helmet came off of one of the Baylor players. Stops the clock for a moment with 1:41 left.
Number 88, Savion Patton on time. 1-yard gain on the play.
So again, Baylor looking for offensive improvement this season. So far, this offense has been held scoreless in the first half. Only 7 points coming on defense.
First time we've seen empty.
2nd and goal. Bohannon keeps it himself, looking for the corner. And stopped by Braden Stringer. 3rd and goal now from the 3.
Formation that time, you could tell they were trying to spread everybody out and then use the big body of Bohannon to try to get into the end zone. This is that 4-point play, big play in the game here. Bobcats trying to get their crowd up and going. This is a gigantic play in this first half right now.
One of the biggest crowds in the stadium over the last 5 years. Under 50 seconds to go. 3rd and goal. Bohannon to Smith, up the gut, and he's in. Touchdown. Touchdown, Abram Smith. Baylor back in front.
That's just a real nice job by that offensive front for the Bears that time. You had a little misdirection with the jet sweep going by, and then they come back. He pulls the linebackers with them. Got good blocking up front. He just plants his foot and turns it upfield. First offensive touchdown of the night for the Bears.
What a drive for Jeff Grimes' offense. 13 plays, 75 yards. And Smith the touchdown run. The point after from the left-footed Hankins is good. Now 14-10, Baylor on top. Under a minute to go in the 2nd quarter. Baylor takes the lead in a long drive as Abram Smith punches it in. 14-10, Baylor the lead. You see the record for Dave Aranda. A year ago, 2-7. Keep in mind, his predecessor, Matt Rule, went 1-11 in his first year, but they saw big improvement in year 2, and Baylor won 7 games. By year 3, they won 11. And Coach Aranda talked to us, Keith. He learned a lot from his first season and saw areas in which he needed to improve. Of course, before taking over at Baylor, defensive coordinator for a national championship program at LSU.
Well, anytime you get in that hot seat and you get the job and you're the man, there's some adjustments that you have to make. And after one season, he said, we're going to make some adjustments. He has, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And out in front here, what a drive that was by the Bears.
14-10, Baylor on top with 36 seconds to go. Flags in on the back end of this kickoff that went behind the back of Jordan Mask. Did that go out of bounds?
Yeah, I think this will come out to the 30 instead of the 25. So you just tack on 5 to it. Actually, tack on 10. I forgot about that. So it's up to the 35. Only 36 seconds left, but 2 timeouts left for the Bobcats.
If you're curious about the field goal range for Seth Keller, his long last year was 48. So first down, Texas State from the 35 after the 10-yard penalty. The blitz and a short pass for Marcel Barbie hitting the turf. Stops the clock with 31 seconds to go.
Now the pressure, you've got to get a little bit of a block when you're running a screen. The pressure got to him. Brady couldn't step into the throw that time, so McBride was a little short on that throw. Protect the football here. If you get a big play here on 2nd down and get into Bear territory, then you'll go fast. If you don't, I don't think you go fast from that point on.
2nd down for the 35. McBride steps up, launching it deep for Barbie. Beyond his reach and incomplete, defended by Kalen Barnes. So McBride takes his shot. Clock stops again, 25 seconds to go.
There was a lot of hand checking, but to be honest with you, I think that's pretty good coverage. I think both players were trying to work and get separation. There is an offensive lineman down for the Bobcats.
Down to the 35-yard line. That's Dalton Cooper, their left tackle, freshman All-American last year, honorable mention All-Sun Belt. Started all 12 games a season ago. Again, a revamped Texas State offensive line. But Cooper, one of the returners. The Bobcats, though, have added players like Charles Fletcher from NC State, Kyle Hergel from North Dakota State, Liam Dobson from Maine, and Liam Dick from Pitt. In addition to that, Keith, a new offensive line coach like the Bears have, and Eric Mateus. Texas State brought in NFL vet Jim Turner for their offensive line.
Yeah, one of the things that head coaches do, and you look at them regular, one of the things that they always talk about is that they think they've got an idea who they want and who they're going to use as a coach, and then all of a sudden, after a year, the philosophies may not be the same. And, well, I tell you what, Dalton Cooper has really been a good player in his time right here. I hope he's okay, able to get back, coming off very gingerly.
Texas State is already down 2 other linemen, to include starter Russell Baker, not available tonight. And so now Cooper to the sidelines. Texas State 2 incompletions so far on the drive. And now it's 3rd and 10. 25 seconds to go. McBride, a broken play, steps up, heaves it, and incomplete for Javen Banks. So some improvisation there from Brady McBride, but the Bobcats can't convert.
Trying to run a draw, but the pressure got there. I'm not sure why you would have to take a timeout. That ball was thrown, so the clock was already stopped. They're going to take a timeout here. Now you got to get the punt off here.
But not only get the punt off, but be careful not to punt to Treston Ebner.
Well, that is very true. Bobcats got a break there. They were running a draw. Their entire offensive line was more than 3 yards down the field when McBride threw the football there, but was not called. But that's one of those scenarios where when you improvise, there are times when you improvise that it puts you in real trouble. They got away with it there, no penalty, but it is 4th down, going to have to punt this ball away.
Again, a big crowd on hand tonight. The first of 6 home games for Texas State this season. Baylor will play its home opener next week against Texas Southern, while the Bobcats go on the road to Miami to face Florida International. Ebner back to return. Seamus O'Kelly, the Australian punter, will not have to punt from 5 yards further back. And for Texas State, second penalty of the game. And more space now for Ebner to make a play. Line drive from O'Kelly. And the ball's going to bounce Texas State's way inside the 20 and down at the 18-yard line with 7 seconds left.
Excellent punt.
Yeah, Seamus O'Kelly does his job.
Yes, he does. Keeps it away from Ebner. Now at this point, I think you're going to see a knee, and we'll be at halftime. A very entertaining and well-played first half by both clubs.
Texas State only touchdown. A McBride pass to Marceau Barbie. Baylor getting a run from Abram Smith. And a pick 6 from J.T. Woods. Tack on a Texas State field goal. That's a scoring here in the first half. A lot of, again, long drives.
Victory formation for the Bears.
And Bohannon will take the knee. And with that, he'll take us into the locker rooms. So the Baylor Bears looking to win a season opener for a 4th consecutive year, clinging to a 14-10 lead. Here in a moment, we'll hear from Coach Dave Aranda for his first half thoughts with Coral Riggs. But again, Keith, for Baylor, 14 points to the board. Defense got half of them, offense the other.
Yeah, they really did an outstanding job on both sides of the ball. Got to tip your cap to both teams. Got things done. long drives right here. Just really persistent, very few mistakes in the first half.
And Coral Riggs standing by with Dave Aranda.
Coach, you said Gary Bohannon. You thought he would be emotional coming into this game, but it seems like he's really settled in this offense. What can you say about his performance so far?
I think Gary's been right on point. I think there's been a maturity about him, a calmness, a confidence that I think our offense is grounded in. And so I think the ability to finish drives, I think there were things that we were doing to hurt ourselves that wasn't Gary's doing.
Two touchdown
and so the ability to clean those up really allows Gary to kind of flourish.
And what do you do to keep sustaining these drives, these long drives that you've had in this first half? What do you do to keep that going in the second half?
I think we see a lot of man coverage, and so every new first game you're going to see new things. So man is new, so we can do a better job of getting off man press and maybe getting some formations that will allow us to do that better. And then also, I think we can't have self-inflicted wounds, whether it's penalties or squeezing the ball. We've got to be able to play as 11 guys out there, finish drives.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Coral. Again, Baylor on top at the end of the first half, 14-10. The two teams exchanging leads in the second quarter. Texas State grabbed their first lead 10-7 on Brady McBride's first touchdown pass of the year. Baylor responded later in the quarter on a touchdown from Abram Smith. It's 14-10 Baylor at the half from Bobcat Stadium. Third quarter underway here from San Marcos. Baylor with the football first, and it's Treston Ebner taking it out and got kind of tripped up by the turf monster at the 15-yard line. So again, Baylor on top at the break, and to start this third quarter, 14-10. For some thoughts from Texas State's Jake Spavital, Coral Riggs has more on the sidelines.
Yeah, guys, to put it simply, Coach Spavital, he's pleased with his team's performance, but he just wants to see them finish. He wants to see them finish a play, finish a drive, and not panic. You know, there's a lot of unknowns the first game of the season, especially when you're facing a team with a new offensive coordinator. He likes the way they're adjusting. He wants them to keep adjusting and finish. Back to you.
All right, Keith, looking at adjustments here in the second half, what do you expect to see from Baylor's offense?
I think Baylor might get a little more play action in this half than they did in the first half. They still want to establish a run. That is it. They start the first play of the second half with the running play. But it's the adjustments defensively now. See if Texas State comes out with a little more 4 down in this situation. When you're facing a team that's decided to run the football, a lot of times you need to put more guys in the box.
Abner the carry there for the Bears on his first third quarter play. Good for 4 yards. Ebner, now a team leading 48 yards on the ground. It's been a good split so far between Ebner and Abram Smith for Baylor.
Yeah, they've done a nice job and really haven't got their quarterback into the running game very often, and he is a guy that can run the football. Big, strong, physical quarterback.
Kind of surprising, Ebner didn't have a catch in the first half. Bohannon off the play fake, lets it fly, deep and incomplete. Looking for the big play threat, Tyquan Thornton. 16 yards per catch last year. 11th best average in program history.
He just threw that ball 65 yards in the air. I mean, that tells you the arm strength right there. That ball just really took off. He was open, just over to put too much air under it.
Again, Bohannon, big physical quarterback, 6'3", 221, high IQ. He's already earned his bachelor's degree, working on his master's in pedagogy. Right now working on this Baylor offense, leading early third quarter, 14-10. Baylor excellent on third downs in the first half. 5 for 7. And the
Needs a timeout. A little miscommunication. Everybody looking to the sideline that time. Brandon, and nobody was getting a play, so they had to take a timeout.
So Baylor takes its first time out of the half, less than a minute into the third, still leading in San Marcos, 14-10. again, a massive crowd on hand. Fans that have traveled south on 35 from Waco to San Marcos, and the hometown fans as well. Trying to get loud on a big third down early in the third, with Baylor backed up at its own 21-yard line.
Blitz coming. Do you adjust here? Now look to the sidelines. What adjustments do they make? That's all. Second half is all about adjustments.
Texas State needs some defensive adjustments. Again, Baylor 5 for 7 on third downs, but now 5 for 8. Incomplete pass for the tight end, Ben Sims.
Well, that's a nice adjustment. We did not see the Bobcats much in the first half, Grant, come with any kind of pressure. That time they brought 6 and just forced the football out early. Adjustments for me are the biggest things. You hire good assistants as a head coach to make adjustments at halftime. The first 5 minutes of the second half usually dictate the outcome of games so many times when you're in a one-possession game.
That the first 3 and out of the game for Baylor's offense. Isaac Power, 7th in the Big 12 in punting last year to punt this one away. And this is Ashton Hawkins at the 36-yard line. Texas State coming out on offense for the first time here in the third quarter. To use the word adjustments, Keith, in terms of Texas State's offense, 10 points in the first half, the killer turnover. What adjustments do they need to make?
Well, obviously they're down one lineman for sure that was hurt right at the end of the first half. But they would still like to go out and establish something in the rushing game. At this point of the ball game, they've only rushed for 39 yards. I think they would love to get some kind of equality in both yardage gain through the air and on the ground. So I think the adjustments here is let's try to pound the rock here early in this second half.
McBride, 9 of 18 passing in the first half. On first down, Calvin Hill. And there is Apu Ika, the big nose guard sophomore on the tackle from Salt Lake City, Utah. The #1 recruit out of the state of Utah coming out of high school. And again, Keith has a ring in his finger with LSU from 2019.
Yeah, he does have a ring on his finger. And oh, by the way, he was lived 5 blocks from the University of Utah and decided he wanted to go to LSU. Now he's at Baylor. And he is a big man. Big man.
6'4", 350. On second down, McBride. Short pass complete. This is Julian Ortega-Jones with a flag on the back end of the play.
I think we're going to have holding out on the corner here. Late flag came in. I think this is going to back up the Bobcats. Well, I tell you, as a wide receiver, Brent, you get out on the edge, you're so visible, and you get those hands outside the shoulders, you're going to get called every time. But a quick pass, gets it out, just out there, you can see those hands on the shoulders right there. That's going to get called every time.
Backs us up now to second down and 12. Again, McBride won the starting quarterback job. The battle between him and the veteran Tyler Vitt. Each player voted a team captain. McBride, a dangerous pass there. Jalen Petrie almost had himself a pick six. It is now 3rd and long.
The star backer for the Bears read that right away. That's game film. He saw that instantly. He was coming from his nickel position as the ball was snapped, looking for that play. Careful here, protect the football.
Petrie had a pair of pick sixes last year against Iowa State and Texas Tech. Bears jump off sides. Free play, but the play was whistled dead. This might be encroachment as you saw Barbie leak free.
They did not allow the play to go, but it's going to cost the Bears 5 yards.
And the fans in attendance wanted the free play from McBride.
Yeah.
Now they see Petrie way off sides. And by the way, Dalton Cooper, who you mentioned, the lineman that went down, it's Kyler Cooks who's taken his place now, left tackle. 3rd down, 13 to go. McBride steps up, chucks it, incomplete at the 45-yard line. Looking for Drew Jackson. Texas State goes 3-0.
Yeah, both teams making adjustment. Coach Aranda and his defensive staff decided to come after McBride. All 3 plays of this drive, there was some type of blitz, 5 at least coming. So you can see both teams starting to make adjustments here in the second half.
I saw Petrie coming off, nominated for Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year last year. And now Ebner back to return this punt from Seamus O'Kelly. And again, punts it away from him. The strategy the Bobcats had coming into the game leads to a timeout on the field. No scoring early in the third quarter. It remains a 14-10 Baylor lead. Bears back at offense when we come back, clinging to a 4-point lead in San Marcos. Just one of the many things that the city of San Marcos has to offer is River, where students and locals spend a lot of their time to try and cool off from the Texas heat.
Well, today 101 degrees. It was a really nice day to be out floating in a real cool river, San Marcos, and it's been a really good ball game, folks. If you're just tuning in, it's been very competitive. Had a lot of different things, adjustments by both sides. You see. Texas State with a 4-down front here to start the second half. We didn't see a lot of that in the first half.
First half for Bohannon. Back to throw. Bohannon steps up, escapes to his right, and throws it away. Zion Childress, the pressure against Bohannon, brings up second down.
Incomplete pass because he got outside the tackle box and got the ball relatively close to the line of scrimmage, so no intentional grounding there. But how about the Bobcats here in the second half creating some pressure here on the first 2 passes?
So second down and 10. Bohannon now 8 of 15 passing. Neither quarterback has surpassed 100 yards through the air. On second down, Ebner finds a lane, midfield, spins out of a tackle. Treston Ebner fighting forward to the 42-yard line. 17-yard gain for the senior out of Henderson, Texas.
He did a really nice job right there of putting that right foot down on the cut. Watch that right foot go to the ground, and then, boy, he turns up, he gets vertical, north and south, and just pushes into Bobcat territory.
Baylor now is a team over 100 yards on the ground tonight. Abram Smith checks in at tailback here. Bohannon, play fake, wants to take a shot, launching complete to the 30. There's a flag away from the play at the 30-yard line on the catch by R.J. Steve.
It's going to be defensive holding. This play's going to stand. Big, deep play action that time, and they were trying to get vertical, trying to get a home run ball, but had to check it down. But Bohannon has really impressed me with his patience, Brant. He doesn't immediately look for his one receiver. He checks down when his one receiver's not open.
Again, Baylor playing his first non-conference game since the 2019 Sugar Bowl against Georgia. Smith hit hard by Lethbridge. Binky Coleman for a loss back at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, that's a really nice job. They feathered that to the sideline. I've talked to a lot of defensive coordinators, and they say the sidelines never missed a tackle. You know, they're 1,000%. They make every tackle, so if you can get him to the sidelines, you're going to get him down.
613 days since Baylor's last non-conference game.
That's amazing.
Until tonight. Second down and 11. Bohannon looking to throw and dump off out to Smith. Short gainer as Michael Levette's helmet comes off. Again, we expected to see more passes go to the way of Treston Ebner tonight. None have.
Yeah, it's a new offense. So one of the things that we learned this week, it's been installed. They don't use a lot of passes to the back in this offense like the previous offense. Gigantic play in this ball game right now.
Just 2 pass catchers so far tonight for Baylor until that pass to Abram Smith. On 3rd down, swing pass out to Josh Fleeks. Nowhere to go. Read well by Texas State's defense.
Big time play right there. They took the 2 receivers on the top of your screen were going deep, trying to flood the area, then bring Fleeks out to the side, get one-on-one, but good coverage by the Bobcat defense is going to force a long field goal attempt.
Baylor missed earlier in the game. And this again is Isaiah Hankins. Freshman kicker will attempt from 43 yards out. Good snap, good hold, good distance, good kick. Baylor on top, 17-10. 8:50 left here in the 3rd quarter. And the Bears get points on the drive.
They do. They take advantage of it. They have 2 big plays, but the Bobcat defense comes up with a stop. And 17-10 ball game. You get the feeling that as long as Texas State can stick around here, they're very much in this ball game. But this is an important drive right now.
So we showed you that shot of the river not long ago. Comparing the 2 campuses, Baylor's opened nearly 180 years ago. Texas State's also opened in the 1800s. How about the enrollment? Texas State's nearly double that of Baylor's. And the famous alumni that have gone each university.
Well, yeah, you look at LBJ's one of them. Then you got the King. And I'm a huge George Strait fan. And anybody that's been to Waco's been to Chip and Joanna Gaines' Magnolia. You just can't miss the area.
Of course, the stars of Fixer Upper, former Baylor Bear students, now alumni. Baylor's scoring drive, 7 plays, 33 yards. Talked about this earlier, a lot of long drives for the 2 teams. Baylor's had drives made up of 7, 13, and 17 plays. Texas State has had an 11-play drive and a 14-play drive. Some tired defenses out there tonight.
Yep.
The kickoff from Rauschenberg. He's been great tonight on kickoff duties. And the Bobcats again will start at the 25-yard line.
Well, we talked about the adjustments coming out of the half. Second opportunity here. See if the Bobcats can get something going. I know they would love to establish some type of running game and get something positive in that running game. And Hill comes back out, one of the 4 tailbacks that will get an opportunity throughout the year for the Bobcats, but they'd love to get something going in the running game.
Coach Spavital calling tonight a big opportunity. A win would arguably go down as the biggest one in Texas State's history. A win that would mean a lot, not just to his football team, but to the university and the St. Marcus community as a whole. First down, Calvin Hill. To his left, wrapped up by J.T. Woods after a gain of 5.
Yeah, but a positive 5 yards right there.
And up goes to number 22, Calvin.
Gets you ahead of the change. We have not seen Texas State in a hurry up to where they've really get. They're right back to the line of scrimmage here. I thought maybe it might be time to start put some NASCAR on it. Try to get to the line of scrimmage quickly.
Brant Freeman, Keith Moreland, Cole Riggs on the Saturday night, week 1 of the college football season. Bobcats now faced with 3rd down and 2 after that carry by Hill. Spoke about this earlier. Last year, the Sun Belt unbeaten against the Big 12. There was one such game earlier today, won by Texas over Louisiana.
It was, and that was a good ball game into the second half. Texas pulled away late.
Brings up 3rd down at
38-18, Texas to win. Bobcats faced with 3rd down. They are 2 of 8 on 3rd down so far tonight. McBride hands to Hill. Hit for a loss. TJ Franklin stacked him up, and Baylor forces 4th down.
I tried to, you're trying to do something a little bit different right there. Go to a run, trying to think in a passing down, and Baylor didn't fall for it. Bobcats are going to have to punt it away again.
The teams that won last year, Coastal Carolina over Kansas, Arkansas State over Kansas State, and Louisiana a win in Ames over Iowa State. O'Kelly back to punt again. Ebner waits at his own 30. High in the air, Ebner, the fair catch is made to the 40. Contact made before the fair catch. Will tack on more yards, and Baylor will have great starting field position on his next drive.
It's one of those scenarios here. We get the call. It's contact, but it looked like he was blocked into it to me. I think this may go against the Bears.
So far, 3 penalties against both teams.
Holding, receiving team number 3. 10-yard penalty, first down.
There you go, Keith. Good eyes.
I think that the interference was blocked into it. Watch right here. He's hit right there. It knocks him into it, so there's no interference, but the holding before that is going to back the Bears up 10 yards.
6:50 left, third quarter. 17-10, Baylor on top. And with that, we'll step aside from St. Marcus. The game remains tight, a one-possession game at Bobcat Stadium. This game kicking off the 115th season in Texas State program history. A winning record in season openers, yes, but they haven't won one in 4 years. A tight one last year against SMU. And Texas State lost 31-24 to the Mustangs. It's a 7-point game here. Baylor on top 17-10, about halfway through this third quarter.
Crucial time right now, though. The Bears have started taking control. You get that feeling that this is the one where they're going to try to really get some separation, see if the defense for the Bobcats can step up right now.
First down for the timeout. Bohannon rolls out, throws complete. First down Baylor across the 40. Tyquan Thornton.
Boy, excellent route. Thornton really sold that going deep, and then comes back to the outside. Just very difficult as a defender there to do anything with that, because it looked like it was going to be something. Sprinted down the field, comes back to the football. Pitch and catch, first down.
9 career touchdowns for Tyquan Thornton, just 1 in a down year last year. First down from the 43. Bohannon turns, hands it off. Big room. Ebner breaks a tackle and dropped at the 42-yard line. Down to the sidelines for an update with Coral Riggs. Coral?
Yeah, guys, DeJordan Mask and Jay Morris both came out on the last time Texas State was on defense with some injuries. Now, you see DeJordan Mask, he's out there. He's been cramping up in his calves. The trainers stretched him out. He's good to go. Jay Morris, the trainers took him into the tent, checked him out. The trainer told me that he would be back in the game. However, he is sitting down, icing his left leg, but the trainers did say you can expect to see him back at some point.
All right, thank you, Coral. After the run by Ebner, first down for the Bobcat 41. Ebner again, reverses field, cuts to his right, exploding off the right side. Ebner, nice move inside the 30, first down Baylor. And right now, Keith, Treston Ebner's in rhythm.
Yeah, he's in rhythm. The offensive line for the Bears are really getting a good push right now. And you get some separation. That's a really nice cutback, because that play was made to go to the left side, and he broke it back to the right. And then able to get a first down inside the 30.
Again, Ebner, a career low 2.1 yards per carry last year, averaging almost 8 yards a carry so far tonight. Bohannon off the play fake, airs it out, complete to the tight end. Inside the 15, Drake Dabney. First down Baylor again.
Well, really well-designed play as it's a clear pattern. They take their wide receiver and clear, and then take the backside tight end after the play action, drag him across the middle. Pitch and catch, easy first down now inside the 15.
Again, Jeff Grimes wanted to get the tight ends involved heavily in the offense.
Yes.
That's the first catch for a tight end tonight for Baylor. Bears inside the red zone. Bohannon to Abram Smith to his right. Gets a block inside the 5 to the pylon. Touchdown. Touchdown Abram Smith, his second.
That's just a really nice run right here by Smith. He does a great job of reading his blockers. The misdirection, they pull. It's a counter trade, just done a different way, where they pull two offside offensive linemen, get them out in front. Smith just weaves in there through and powers his way into the end zone.
The 5th worst rushing offense in the country last year has racked up 143 yards. Tonight, point after makes it 24-10 Baylor. 4:21 to go here in the third quarter. 5-play, 70-yard drive there for the Bears. 43 of those yards on the ground.
Yeah, they established a running game there, getting a good block up front. Boy, great block right out in front, and then Smith finishes off. 225 pounds, and you can see he just leans forward at the end and drives to the pylon.
So Abram Smith, a touchdown run, second tonight. 59 yards on the ground so far for Smith. Linebacker turned running back. Baylor was down, Keith, 10-7. Since then, 17 unanswered. Yeah,
they've done a nice job, and they've done it, a lot of it on the defensive side and running the football, as you mentioned. If you can run it, you can take the will out of a team, and that's exactly what the Bears have done. They've just run it down the Bobcats' throat. Now, offensively, you've got to have a sustained drive right here. You've got to find a way to come away with some points to stay in this ball game. 4:21 to go in the third quarter. You're still very much in it, but this is one of them that you just can't go 3 and out right here.
So after the touchdown by Abram Smith, Baylor kicks off to Texas State. Right now, Baylor is close to doubling up the Bobcats' offensive output. Nearly 300 yards of offense for Baylor so far. The Bobcats less than 150. Another kick behind the end zone. The Bobcats again start at the 25-yard line.
That's a weapon. I mean, anytime that you can take the return game out of play, that's a weapon.
Bobcat offense work to do. An offense which last year averaged close to 30 points per game. Their per game average going up by nearly 10 points for the season prior. Saw Jake Spavital take over as play caller in 2020. A new offensive coordinator of their own last year, Jacob Peeler, stuck on 10 points so far tonight. And the big crowd has come quiet with Baylor on top by 2 touchdowns. Pass complete across the 35. That's Marcel Barbie with the catch.
His second touch of the night. Going to have to get him involved here in this second half.
His only other touch, that touchdown. The only one for the Bobcats tonight came in the second quarter. 4-minute mark of the third. 24-10 Baylor. Schweifert looking for a hole, and Jalen Petrie shuts that down.
The Bears have just done a nice job up front of just maintaining the pressure. Not really penetration, Brant, but pressure on the offensive line. Just no push. They haven't been able to penetrate, but no push, and some of the delays, they've been able to shut things down quickly.
You see Petrie wearing the single-digit 8 as McBride slings out of the sidelines to Julian Ortega-Jones for a short pickup. A tradition started under Matt Rule in 2017. The toughest players on Baylor's roster would wear single digits, and Coach Randa has kept that tradition going. By the way, there's Raleigh Tejada, one of those single-digit players, got banged up earlier in the game and since returned.
2 deep coverage right now. Coming.
The blitz. McBride steps up, fires, complete. Flag is in. Barbie tackled on the sidelines. At the 40-yard line, there is a penalty marker. Throw back in midfield. And this looks like it's going to be against Baylor.
It does. Was waiting. There's a lot of pushing and shoving between the
Pass
two.
interference. Defense number 3. That penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
So a big catch for Marcel Barbie, second on this drive. That last play good for 21 yards for Barbie. Led the team last year, catches and yards receiving. First down, and running play for Schweifert got cut down by Terrell Bernard. We haven't talked a lot about Bernard tonight. Missed the final 5 games of last year because of a shoulder injury, but was still named second team All Big 12.
Well, he's a guy that makes things happen. You know, they call him an outside linebacker, but in my opinion, he's a guy that is playing like a safety as well.
McBride launches complete for the 25. Another sideline route caught by Julian Ortega-Jones. Texas State finding rhythm on offense.
Yeah, McBride does a really nice job of buying time by using his feet, and then he shows you the arm strength to be able to get to it and get the first down.
6th play of the drive coming up. Under 2:30 to go in the third. Pass to the end zone, almost intercepted by Petrie. That time McBride throwing into double coverage.
Well, folks, if you're a young free safety and you want to learn how to play free safety, this is exactly what you do. He read this from the beginning. He turned his back to the quarterback and sprinted to the spot where the receiver was, and then turns back for the football. The only thing he didn't do well there was hold on to it because he had a shot at it.
McBride has only thrown 1 pick in this game. Second down now for the Baylor 24. McBride off the play fake. Completes to the 19 and a big stick from Kalen Barnes. He's been a heavy hitter in this game.
Boy, I tell you what, these defensive backs are as good as advertised. We heard all week that this defense is good. Now seeing them in person, these guys in the secondary will hit you.
Barnes was limited over the final month of the year due to a broken thumb in 2020. That last tackle after a 5-yard gain. Jackson comes in motion. The blitz, or one play to the outside. Schweifert, the play is snuffed out. Petrie again. The tackle back at the 30-yard line.
I think you got to kick a field goal here. If you've gotten some positive yardage there, I think you might have gone for it on 4th down, but now you've got to kick it here and try to get some points on the board on this drive.
Keller hit earlier tonight. This is a 39-yard attempt. Was 8 of 9 on field goals last year as he won the job mid-season. To make it an 11-point game. Keller has the leg, and the kick is good as he bangs it through from 39 yards out. With under a minute to go in the third quarter, it's now 24-13 Baylor.
Well, you got something. You had to come away with some points that time to stay very much in this ball game, and I think they are. Now your defense, you tried to make adjustments at halftime. Baylor has come out and really controlled the ground game here in the second half. You're going to need to get a stop, and I think on this drive, keep the Bears from getting points right here, and then you got an opportunity to stay in this game. On the other side for the Bears, this is a chance when you, as a coach, you talk about this is when you separate. Take the ball here, you go down and come away with 6 on this drive and put this thing away.
Mentioned for the Bobcats this game kicking off. Their 115th season all time for the Bears, their 120th. 79 wins all time at openers for Baylor. And they have won 11 out of their past 12. A Baylor team that struggled for so long in the 90s. A return to prominence in recent years. Dave Aranda taking over for Matt Rule after his 11-win season in Waco. And now coaching Carolina in the NFL.
Kicking into this breeze, more than likely there will be a return.
Don't see Ebner
I don't.
on the return team here for Baylor. baits the kickoff. And this is returnable from the 6 to the 25 to the 30. And a good return.
And a tackle on the blocking side there. I mean, this was a tackle. It wasn't a hold. It was a tackle.
Monterey Baldwin on the return for Baylor with 39 seconds to go.
During the return, holding. Receiving team number 25. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So now Baylor starts further back, but keep in mind, Keith, the last time Baylor was out on offense, 70 yards and only 5 plays. You get the sense that Baylor's offensive line is starting to wear down Texas State's front seven.
I would concur in that statement, but you know, this is when you step up. Now what do you do as a defensive coordinator? Said, I've got to help my guys up front. You see some stunts here. You may see some run blitzes. A blitz is a blitz. You just have to be blitzing into the run.
Bohannon, his first career start, leading right now. Late in the third quarter, Abram Smith finds a hole, running right through it, and close to a first down after a gain of 9.
They've just been so good here in the second half on first down. They have been second and short, it seems like, on every first down.
And it seems like Smith is the kind of back that's looking for contact too, right?
He's not avoiding it.
2nd and 1, 10 seconds to go, and does Baylor wait until the fourth quarter?
At this point, I think they do. Just let the clock, we're going to go to the quarter.
And so the first start for Bohannon sees him and the Bears on top.
That is the end of the third quarter.
24-13. Heading into the fourth quarter, Bears clinging to an 11-point lead over the Bobcats in San Marcos. Impacted by the hurricane.
Oh, no question. I spent a lot of time over my lifetime fishing and in the state of Louisiana, and some great fishing, and so some of those folks have nothing left. So all the support we can give across the country is going to help.
Ida making landfall exactly 16 years after Hurricane Katrina devastated those in southern Louisiana. Ready for the start of the fourth quarter. Baylor on top 24-13. And faced with 2nd down and 2. Efficient night so far for Bohannon. And for the Bears ground game, Abram Smith, another punishing run. And by the time the night is done, Keith, Baylor might have a pair of 100-yard rushers.
Absolutely. Both of them have really done an outstanding job. You got to give credit to, again, talking to their coaching staff this week, that was one of the things that was on their mind was we got to learn how to run the football and have success running the football. Well, they have tonight.
Smith and Ebner have combined for 170 yards on 27 carries. First down from the 36. Another run play, another stretch. And that time Smith, boy, you thought first contact he was going down. He refuses to do so. All the way down to the 40 on a hard-earned 4 yards.
He was carrying people the last 4 yards. They're almost getting him 5 on that carry.
And now Smith will check out. That should bring Ebner back into the game. Keep in mind, Baylor's minus one of its more effective running backs tonight, Squirrel Williams, who suffered a season-ending injury last year, still not ready to play. Bohannon off the play fake, takes a shot downfield for Snead, incomplete to bring up 3rd down and 5.
One of the first times we've seen him off target for Bohannon that time. And he's really been effective going to his left, which is his non-throwing side. He's done a nice job on that deep out, just out in front that time. And big play right here for both sides. Bobcats want to get back in this ballgame, need a stop right here.
Miranda's Bears, 5 of 9 on 3rd downs. They do not have a 3rd down conversion in this half. Off the right side, Ebner won't collect a first down here. Childress, a big tackle for Texas State. And the Bobcats get a much-needed stop on 3rd down.
Yeah, did a nice job. Got good penetration across the bow right there, and then Childress able to finish it up. And get the tackle and force the punt. This into the breeze too, which is not as strong as it was as we started the ball game, but still right to left on your screen.
And this will send out power. With Ashton Hawkins back to return. Again, last year's returner, Jeremiah Haydell. An undrafted free agent in the offseason by the LA Rams. In attendance in this game tonight. Hawkins, a fair catch. It has it at the 17. Fourth quarter underway. Baylor leading 24-13, but the Bobcats have the ball when we come back.
Welcome back to San Marcos, Texas, where we have 12 minutes and 51 seconds left in the game. The Bobcats trail 13-24. Bobcats are led by quarterback Brady McBride. McBride marks the first Texas State quarterback to get the start in back-to-back season openers since 2016. Head coach Jake Spavital pointed out that McBride came into his own late last season. The game started to slow down a little bit more for him the more live reps he got. And that all came to fruition at the end of the season when he threw for 800 yards and 8 touchdowns in just the last 3 games. Whereas the first 6 games, he only threw for 9 touchdowns. He's really coming into his own, and they like what they're seeing from McBride here at Texas State. Guys?
Thank you, Coral. Funny story about that, too, Keith, is that McBride got benched late in the season.
Sure did.
After a turnover-laden game against Louisiana. But after an injury to his replacement, Tyler Vitt, McBride got the job back and has been exceptional ever since then.
And then won the job this summer. Had to come back and win that job. I mean, nothing guaranteed from last year. Came back and won the job in fall camp.
Jake Spavital joking that the benching of McBride made him look like a genius. Big shot for Banks, intercepted by Petrie. Petrie the return at the 40, still running. Petrie spilled over inside the 30. Second Baylor interception, this one for Jalen Petrie.
Well, that time got outside the pocket, tried to force the issue, did McBride. It threw across his body down the field, and it just didn't have enough on it to get there. And it's one that you try to lay out in front, trying to get the action. And he's out in front, he's on the road, on the run to the outside, and just can't get enough on that. Grant to get it to him, and nice job of cutting in front, stepping in front, and coming up with the pick.
You get the sense that McBride were able to set his feet.
Yes.
That could be going the other way for a touchdown instead. Baylor maybe a chance to put this game out of reach. The Bobcats 18 turnovers last year. 6 straight years they finished with a negative turnover margin. Ebner, good hole up the left side. Ebner barrels ahead of the 12-yard line. And again, Baylor's running game has been the most impressive part of their offense here this evening.
No question about it. And it goes back to continuity of what they've got in the offensive front. There were so many ors when I saw the 2 deep, either or. I was thinking, well, maybe they don't know exactly who it is, but this offensive line has really been good tonight for the Bears.
And with that 15-yard run, Ebner over the century mark in the game on 14 carries. Bohannon in the red zone again. Under 12 to go in the fourth. It's Ebner. Breaks out of a tackle, still running to the outside. Ebner, a stiff arm. He won't go down. Ebner finally falls down to the 8s.
I tell you what, 5 different guys had shots at him. Had him in the backfield for a loss. He just keeps churning those legs, and Ebner stays in the game here.
Signs of a tired defense
yes,
as well.
They've been on the field a lot here in the second half.
Look at time of possession in this game. So far won by Baylor. 26 minutes plus at Texas State's 21. Second down for the Bobcat 8s. Bohannon on the design quarterback run. Barrels forward, and Bohannon holds on to the football and close to a first down.
Well, that's just student body right there with the direct snap, the old single wing. A couple of Bobcats down here on the defensive side. It'll be 3rd and short.
That's Isaiah Nixon, a freshman out of Fort Bend, Texas, being looked at by the training staff. Baylor on top by 11 and hunting for more with 10:36 to go in the fourth. Third-year defensive coordinator Zach Spavital, the brother of head coach Jake Spavital, would have loved to have gotten pressure on Gary Bohannon tonight. He has not been sacked. This has been a problem for the Bobcats over the past several seasons, and Keith, you see it. Getting after opposing quarterbacks goes hand in hand with winning.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. It leads to turnovers. If you can get to it and get some strip sacks, and negative plays. Defenses need negative plays.
Big third down out of the timeout. Bohannon with an I formation. Ebner spins out of a tackle, breaks another. Still moving forward and finally sent back. Good defensive pursuit by Texas State.
It's going to lead to a field goal attempt. They don't think that they'll go for it here on fourth down. That's a big stop. Keeps, with 10 minutes to go in the game, that keeps you in the ball game, keeps you in two-possession game.
So Dave Aranda will send out Isaiah Hankins for a relatively chip shot attempt here. This from 27 yards out. And so far, Hankins 1 for 2. Good snap, good hold. And Hankins bangs it through from 27 yards out. And Baylor maintains a two-possession lead, now 27-13 with 9:35 to go.
Well, again, defense, there are times that you have a short field after the turnover. And that's a good defensive stand to hold that, because they took over in the ball inside the 25-yard line after the pick. So you held them, get them a chance. And on the other side, that's a teaching moment for your offense and your offensive coordinator for the Bears. Hey, we can put it away right now if we score a touchdown. They couldn't. On the other side, you can see Jake Spavital right there. He knows he's got to find a way to get a touchdown on this drive and get back in this ball game, make it a one-possession game.
Again, his team, his program, playing for its first ever win over the Power 5. Dave Aranda looking to stay unbeaten in season openers. In his first game as head coach last year, his Bears knocked off Kansas. Baylor has won 3 straight season openers dating back to Matt Rule's days in Waco. Dave Aranda, somebody who preaches that pound the rock mentality with his program.
Physical.
After the field goal, a very important drive coming up for Texas State. Once led of this game, as that kick goes out of bounds. Once led 10-7. Since then, Baylor a 20-3 run.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking number 99.
Go up to the 35-yard line.
To take the ball
so
35
decent
yards.
starting field position. It's not time to be in really hurry up, Brant, but you want to get a little quicker to the line of scrimmage, get your plays off here, and get positive yardage. Because you are down to the 9:35 mark here in the fourth quarter.
Last time the Bobcats were out there, McBride threw a pick to Jalen Petrie. He has thrown 2 tonight. Bobcats start 65 yards away from a much-needed touchdown. Going to work from the 35, it's a draw. Calvin Hill up the middle, a good burst. And tracked down by Petrie at the 41 for 6. Calvin Hill, second leading rusher for the Bobcats last year. Big opening day a year ago against SMU. He's been the Bobcats' top rusher tonight, but with just 31 yards. Baylor's outrushed Texas State by more than a 3-to-1 ratio. 2nd and 4, McBride. Steps up, now back, off his back foot to the sidelines, and incomplete. He has been under much more duress in the second half than we saw in the first half.
There's no foul for intentional
Looking
grounding.
at this, is this going to be intentional grounding?
Across the line of scrimmage. Third down.
Did not call it, so they were really taking a hard look at that, but he was outside and got it past the line of scrimmage. Big play here.
Bobcats on third down. Just 3 of 11 tonight.
Baylor's in a blitz.
You wonder, and it probably depends on what happens here on third down. Is this 4-down territory for Texas State? Here's a blitz. Swing pass to Calvin Hill. Hill looking for blocks and gobbled up right at the sticks of the 45.
But did he get to the sticks? I think he had it, and then he backed up, and they're going to, yes, he did. They're going to give him forward momentum across the line, and a first down. That was a good read by McBride. He saw the blitz, put Hill in motion to the outside, got him out on the edge in the first down.
And just a fourth third down conversion for Texas State tonight. McBride for the 45. Pressured. McBride sacks. Terrell Bernard on the play for Baylor.
Brandon McBride is sacked on the play by number 2, Terrell Bernard.
Bernard coming from his outside linebacker, just really nice timing on that blitz that time, and trying to get a deep out. Have to come off the field. A couple of guys lost their helmets, so one on each side have to come off the field.
Bernard, one of 2 Bears named preseason All Big 12 on defense. Also named to the Bednarik, Nagurski, and Butkus Award watch lists. Leader of this defense. Second down and 18. There's Petrie. The hit, the shot downfield for Jackson. Drops it again. This one broken up by Jaron McVay.
What an incredible play by McBride to get this ball off. And they're all over him. They come again with the nickel blitz from the outside. He comes free. McBride moves around, gets enough on it. This is a very catchable ball. It was contested, but it was in his hands.
2 big drops in this game for Drew Jackson. Makes it 3rd and 18. The Bobcats have to reach the Baylor 45. McBride steps up, lets it fly deep, and this one intercepted. Second one, making the 3rd one for Baylor tonight. Jaron McVay, the interception. Baylor forces its 3rd turnover.
Well, you look at the scenario right there. The blitz got to him. McBride had to step up. Everybody is vertical down the field. At that point, you got to lay it up, and I think this is going to draw a 15-yard penalty after the pick, because all the Bears went down to the far end. I did see some flags come out. We'll see. Could be an unsportsmanlike right here. See what happens.
Our head official, Wayne Winkler, talking to his crew.
That will not make you happy as a head coach.
Dave Aranda not pleased with the penalty after another big defensive play. Last 2 Bobcat drives ending on turnovers. Interceptions thrown by Brady McBride, now 3 on the night. 27-13, Baylor on top. Baylor on top, 27-13.
To Baylor. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
And you heard Keith talking before we went to break that Baylor flagged for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after the pick bump from McVay. 3 turnovers forced by Dave Aranda's defense here tonight. And Baylor in control on top, 27-13.
Over team celebration right there, Brent. Backed up inside the 10.
3 picks thrown tonight by McBride. And 1 on each of the last 2 drives. Bears with their own 10 following the penalty. It's Abram Smith. And hit by Rebels and Nicholas McCann. Something I've noticed tonight, Keith, is that Texas State's receivers are having a hard time getting open against that secondary.
Yeah, it's one of the best secondaries in the Big 12 and one of the better ones in the country. I mean, these guys are experienced back there, and they've had a tough time getting some separation, plus the pressure that's been in McBride. They've been in his face all day, all night.
And Baylor in no hurry here. Next snap will come around 7 minutes to go in the fourth. It's Smith, explodes across the 20, flying down the sidelines. Abram Smith tracked down to the 46.
Well, there's those two backs over 100.
So we predicted that Baylor may have two backs over 100 yards. That prediction has come true.
Yes, it has.
Both Smith and Ebner even 116 yards rushing tonight. First half of the 46 after a 34-yard run. Bohannon slings that complete to Sneed. R.J. Sneed breaks a tackle, still running. Sneed still going. Inside the 30-yard line and down to the 28. 18 more yards, make it 22 for Baylor on that play.
Just a really nice play, developed after the play action to the outside, and Sneed just refuses to go down once he gets the football in his hands. And you got a tired defense right now. It was over 100 degrees as we started the ball game.
Timeout. Texas State. They're first.
I think that's a good timeout for the Bobcats. You get a chance to gather yourself right here as Bear fans start to celebrate here in San Marcos.
For good reason. 6:07 left. Baylor leading 27-13 and on the move. It was quite the offseason for college football this past summer. Name, image, and likeness, NIL, now in place following a Supreme Court ruling. Baylor's conference, the Big 12, about to see some massive changes. The coming exits of Texas and Oklahoma, their intentions to move to the SEC, and the Pac-12, Big 10, ACC coming together for a scheduling alliance in some of the major sports. But Keith, want to talk more about Texas and Oklahoma?
Well, you just look at that. That was sort of quiet this summer, and then it all of a sudden broke. And then now, not as quiet as some new members that have been invited to join the Big 12 at this point. And I think in the next week, we could possibly see the Big 12 back to 12 teams with invitations. Now, there are 8 of 10 members of the conference have to vote, but I think they will vote positive for 4 teams, and the ones that I've been told are the University of Houston, Central Florida, Cincinnati, and BYU.
Very interesting, and Dave Aranda thought it was going to be very interesting to see what happens, thought that this year was very important for the teams that are going to remain in the Big 12 to show the viability of the conference moving forward without Texas and OU. On second down is Ebner. The jump cut stopped for no gain.
Take that a step further, though. Conferences want television viewers. They want cities to do it. So all of a sudden, you go out west and you bring in a lot of ex-students from BYU will turn that on. Then you're going to get Florida and the East Coast when you look at, because you already have West Virginia on the East Coast.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they'll have 2 teams in the Eastern time zone in their division with Cincinnati and Central Florida. So I think that was very important to West Virginia.
Third down and 7. Bohannon on the draw, steps up to run. 15 and spilled over with a flag in. Coming from behind the play, the 12-yard line.
This is a really nice setup on the quarterback draw right here. I think this is going to be holding, though, to go against the Bears.
Holding. Offense number 7. Yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay 30.
Penalty against Abram Smith.
It's a spot foul, and it took place right at the line to gain, so just ahead of that, so it'll be third and about 10 and a half here.
Now, technically, It's been said that Texas and OU don't have to leave until 2025. The expectation is that's going to happen much sooner.
I really believe that I don't believe it'll happen in the 22 football season, but I do believe that there's a great possibility, if this deal goes through with the Big 12, that could happen in the 23-24 academic year.
After the penalty, 3rd down and 11. Bohannon from the 30. Little swing pass to Ebner. And Ebner swallowed up by Samuel Obiang and Isaiah Nixon to bring up 4th down.
You're in that no man's land. I would not be surprised to see the Bears go for it here. Not going to kick a field goal, be more than a 50-yarder, and a punt doesn't gain you that much. So I would be surprised if they don't go for it here on 4th down.
You look at Baylor's schedule this year, and the Bears will play Texas in Waco on October 30th and also host Oklahoma in November. You wonder how many more games Baylor will have against a couple of programs they have a long history with.
No question, especially the Baylor-Texas series, and it goes back 100 years. 100 years.
4th and 17. Dave Aranda keeps his offense on the field. Bohannon takes his shot to the end zone, looking for Thornton, and incomplete. And Texas State will take over with a slight pulse. Down 2 possessions, all 3 timeouts left, but only 3 minutes and 31 seconds to go.
Yeah, you look at the scenario, it doesn't look good, but you still want to go out and stay within your offense here. You'll be in hurry up and try to. You're always trying to learn and always trying to get better, and so this is the opportunity here to see if McBride can, 3 picks in the game, 2 of them were in situations where he was forced to get down the field down 14 points. The first one, the pick 6, that goes on him.
Bobcats running out of time. McBride to the air. Rolls out to his left, has Javen Banks down the sidelines, but overshot him. And again, it was the pressure that led to a rush throw. And McBride, the incompletion, brings up 2nd down.
Had him on an out and up. Banks did a nice job reacting to his quarterback. Just a little bit too much on it. That was a touchdown. They could hook up right there.
Javen Banks, one of the bigger deep threats for the Bobcats, held to just 1 catch tonight for 4 yards. On 2nd down, McBride over the middle and short-armed that for Ortega Jones.
That was open as well. Had opportunities there. Sometimes you're under so much stress and distress, so to speak, when you're back there getting a rush that he's had tonight, that you get off rhythm, and a little bit off rhythm right now.
Likely 4-down territory for Jake Spavital's team. Down 2 possessions with just over 3 minutes to go.
Going to come right here.
There's the blitz. McBride harassed. Steps up and flings that incomplete.
I think you're going to get roughing on the back end of this.
Looking for Ashton Hawkins, and another Baylor penalty extending a Texas State possession.
I didn't mean to step on you there, but I saw it late. Really was no sense having contact there. And this is going to carry an automatic 1st down with it.
If you recall, Texas State's first scoring drive aided by a pair of personal foul penalties against Baylor. One of those roughing the punter. And a late hit from Terrell Bernard. McBride, the son of a longtime high school head coach in Texas, Joe McBride. Currently the head coach at McKinney Boyd. And Brady began his career at Memphis in his 3rd year, transferring to Texas State. To the outside, big run, Jamil Jeter. Jeter cuts it back to his left. One of the better runs Texas State has had tonight.
The big man got loose there on the outside. He is a big guy to bring down. Did a nice job, a nice little step move right here. He sort of steps back to the inside and boom, gets that extra 5 or 6 yards.
Under 3 minutes to go. Bobcats in the hurry up. McBride rolls out to his left, looking, airs it out, and fires that complete for Chandler Space. Another first down to the Baylor 20.
Boy, that's a nice catch. Reaching back behind you, all your momentum coming across the field, reaches up, snares it, comes down with it.
Approaching 2.5 to go. Another run play for Jeter. Explodes off the left side. Trying to cut it back at the 10 and forced out at the 11-yard line. So Texas State, good rhythm here on this drive for the Bobcats down to their final 2:20 of the game.
Yeah, and Baylor's going to take a timeout here. The defensive coordinators do not like giving up points late in ball games, so they're going to call timeout. And I expect that when they come out of this, you'll see some blitzes and some different packages.
So again, Baylor next week will play its home opener against Texas Southern. The first home game of the year for the Bears. After that, the Big 12 opener in Lawrence against the Jayhawks.
But look at that stretch there, though. The one I kept looking at when I looked at the schedule, you start on the 25th at home against the Cyclones and then have to travel to Stillwater, take on the Cowboys, and then West Virginia at home. And, you see that stretch right there. That's an opportunity to really have things go well for you, or you turn around the other side, it can go south on you in a hurry. But their beef for their schedule is no question is that last weekend of September and through the month of October.
And look at that, BYU on the schedule, perhaps a future conference opponent.
Absolutely, I think that is a future conference opponent. I don't think there's a doubt about it.
So Dave Aranda calling for the timeout, trying to give the defense a break. 2:21 left. Texas State trying to keep its slim hopes alive. McBride from the 11 on second down. Jeter again cuts back to his right. And Jamil Jeter extends the drive inside the 10. That'll stop the clock.
I think that run was all about getting the first down. It does stop the clock. They'll be right back to the line of scrimmage, but you want to get those 4 downs now inside the 10.
Bobcats stay in the up-tempo. First and goal now for the 6. McBride hands to Jeter again, and Baylor read that. Got stood up on the play. Braden Utley on the tackle along with Ashton Logan for Baylor.
Well, you'll make no substitutions where you can go quickly. Just back to the line of scrimmage. Clock is running here. Got to get in the air. Got to get in the end zone now. You're almost down to a situation where you're going to have to onside anyway.
Final minute 30 left. McBride off the play fake to the end zone for Barbie, got turned around, and there's a flag.
Yeah, really good route, just got tackled as the ball was en route.
Pass interference. Deep. 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
And by the way, folks, the timeouts on the score graphic you see in front of you is incorrect. When Baylor took its last timeout, they have 1 remaining. Texas State actually has 2, not 3. So Texas State in a position, even with a touchdown here, they'll have to onside kick it.
Yeah.
But first things first for this offense, they need a touchdown here. First and goal after the penalty, it's Jeter. Up the right side and in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Jamil Jeter, and Texas State not going away yet.
Took advantage of the personal foul, roughing the passer, and then after that did a nice job. And how about Jeter? What a drive for him. I mean, a lot of that was on his feet on the ground, and he finishes right here, caps it off by getting it into the end zone.
Texas State covered 65 yards on that drive, 34 of those on the ground. Seth Keller for the point after to make it a 7-point game. And he does. So keep in mind, again, to remind you, the timeouts on the screen incorrect. Texas State has 2 left. Baylor has 1. So the Bobcats will send out the onside team coming up here shortly.
Yeah, anything can happen in this scenario, but I tip my cap to both these clubs. Neither one of them, Baylor didn't quit on that drive, and offensively for the Bobcats, that was their best drive of the second half by far. I mean, taking advantage of whatever that got with the personal foul and the roughing the passer helped them gain a first down, but after that they found a way to get it into the end zone. And you work on this, I guarantee you don't want it to come to this if you're Baylor throwing an onside kick, because anything can happen. But you and I both go to practice and see practices, and teams work on these special things all the time. How about 33 minutes and 44 seconds of time of possession for Baylor to 24:57 for the Bobcats? That, for me, says a lot about this game.
It really does. Just the way Baylor has been able to control the game, the tempo, with its ability to run the ball, something Baylor couldn't say much of last year. 230 yards rushing for Baylor to 80 for Texas State, a lot of which came on that last drive. A relatively quick drive for Jake Spavital's offense, 2 minutes, 4 seconds off the clock. But down to the final minute 19, they need to recover the onside kick. 2 kickers out there, Bates and Keller. It's Keller, the kick, and recovered by R.J. Sneed. The hands team out there for the Bears. It is a veteran from Cy Ranch High School, the senior R.J. Sneed, jumps right on the ball, and Baylor's going to escape.
Boy, I tell you what,
San Marcos.
Really well executed. It just didn't take it. It got the second hop, but it didn't take that big bounce. It sort of scoot bounce and stayed down where Sneed could get it, because if that ball pops in the air on that second hop, you had a chance if you're the Bobcats. Really entertaining ball game for the first one of the year. I tip my cap to both of these clubs. How about the conditioning of these players? It was 100 degrees at the start of the game. We've seen very little cramping from either side.
So barring disaster here for Dave Aranda, he'll move to 2-0 in season openers. And Baylor a chance to move to 2-0 on the year when they host Texas Southern. After that, Kansas. Baylor has a good shot at starting 3-0 this year. A run play, not a kneel down and first down for Baylor. And the Bobcats stop the clock.
Timeout. Texas State, their second.
You look forward for the Bobcats too, Brent. Tough trip. You got to travel to Miami next week, take on Florida International, and then we'll be back here against Secondic Word, and then at Eastern Michigan. That is not an easy draw.
It's not. Eastern Michigan, good program out of the Mid-American Conference. Florida International from Conference USA. And the Golden Panthers, the opponent next week, their defensive coordinator is Everett Withers, who was the head coach prior to Jake Spavital here at Texas State.
A lot of these players there will be a reunion before that one. There's no doubt about it.
And the Bobcats play their conference opener a little more than a month from now against South Alabama. Jake Spavital looking for a miracle here. Down to his final timeout with 1:15 left. Ebner falls down short of the 40-yard line. And the Bobcats.
Timeout. Texas State, their 3rd and 5. 30 seconds.
Spend their last timeout with 1:10 left.
Well, if you're on the other side, if you're Baylor, you're not going to throw the football here. You've had success on the ground, as we talked about, all game long. I mean, you've rushed for 234 yards in the game, so you're going to run the football here. If you don't make it, you're going to take it down to inside 30 seconds before you call timeout. And I might, if it were me, I might run it again.
A look at the Baylor program by the numbers. They've been playing football since the late 1800s. More than 600 wins all time, 13 bowl victories, 9 conference championships. You see that bottom line there, Heisman Trophy winners. Who could forget the great era led by Robert Griffin III?
Oh, he was outstanding. 16 All-Americans.
Third down and 5. Bobcats out of timeouts, and Baylor jumps on the O-line. A false start for Baylor. And what is a running down? This will now be harder to convert.
False start. Offense number 9. Penalty. Still third down.
You still can't put this ball in the air. You cannot stop the clock here. You've got to run the football here.
You figure the best case scenario, if you're Texas State, to get a stop here after the punt, you'll get the ball back, but probably with all of 20 seconds or so to go in the game. 3rd and 10. Ebner spins out of a tackle, darts ahead. Ebner short of the first down at the 42.
Well, I think you got to sell out right here to try to go block the punt. As Baylor has one timeout left, they'll take this down somewhere around 20 seconds before they have to punt the football.
Keith, I wonder if you're Baylor here, do you take an intentional delay of game and try to give Isaac Power more room to sneak that inside the 20?
Well, that's a good point. I'd be more worried about making sure he gets it off, because Texas State's going to bring 11. You got to come get it to have any shot right here. They'll take it down. It took the timeout. May not even taken the timeout. They may have let the clock just expire. 17 ticks left on the clock.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
They'll take it back 5 yards.
Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 21 seconds. 21 seconds on the game clock, please.
So 21 seconds left.
Thank you.
Assuming there is no block, you factor in the hang time for Power, and Texas State is looking at around 16, 15 seconds or so to work with here. Power has pinned opponents inside their 20 34 times in his career. Hawkins, the return man for Texas State. Gets it away. Fair catch called for. And Hawkins at the 10. 15 seconds to go, and the Bobcats have to travel 90 yards.
Well, if the other thing, one of the things that coaches love to do is they have a thing say, hey, end of the game lateral type scenario. I very easily could see here on this first play. Now, you could go say, hey, let's try to get 15, 18 yards on an out and then go to it. But you're going to see 6 guys 30 yards down the field or 40 yards down the field defensively.
You look at Texas State's receivers for McBride. Banks, Spates, and Barbie. And Baylor sending all of his secondary way off the line of scrimmage. You have 7 players standing 15 yards or further back from the football. McBride needing a miracle. Steps up, hit as he throws, almost picks. And there's 8 seconds left.
Now the 4 guys got a rush. Boy, he just got that out of his hands before he got across the line of scrimmage trying to come forward.
And so now, Keith, I think this scenario you painted is probably not going to happen at this point. Now 8 seconds left, you probably have to take your chances with the lateral game. Yeah. 8 seconds to go. McBride steps up, throws that for a first down. Lateraled again into the end zone. Picked up by McBride. Can't throw it forward. He does. That's a penalty, and the game's going to end. Flags all over the field. And again, the game will end on this flag against McBride. Just trying to make a play, and the Bobcats are going to fall 7 points short against Baylor in their season opener.
This could be a safety.
There's that too, because the penalty occurred in the end zone.
offense number 2. That foul occurred in the end zone, results in a safe foul for defensive pass interference. It was an illegal pass. The game is over.
And so there you go. Fitting. The scoring of the game starts from Baylor's defense. The scoring of the game ends from Baylor's defense.
Yeah, it is a safety because of the illegal pass from out of the end zone. And a very entertaining game. Both teams for the first game of the year, healthy, played hard. Baylor won the game at the line of scrimmage. That's where I take from it is their offensive line gelled, able to run the football. In my opinion, that's the difference in the ball game.
And coming up shortly, Cora will visit with Bears head coach Dave Aranda. As the Bears improved to 2-0 and openers under Coach Aranda, they'll play for a 2-0 start next week against Texas Southern. For the Bobcats, a tough group of 5 game on the road next week against Florida International. The first meeting between these two teams in 14 years, competitive to the end, Keith.
No question about it. It all starts at really the separation in the game, as much like we said at halftime. The pick 6 in that first 4 or 5 minutes of the ball game really is the difference in the game. Obviously, you have the safety there at the end.
So again, Baylor a winner 29-20 over Texas State. And right now, Cora Riggs is standing by with Baylor head coach Dave Aranda. But first he'll visit with his team before he talks to Coral. Baylor quality road win. And that's the 3rd win for Coach Aranda in his career. A team trying to bounce back after a down year. This is a good start for them to kick off 2021.
Yeah, and I think you look at the offensive changes that the Bears have made, going to with new offensive line coach, new offensive coordinator, and their system and the widespread. They wanted it, and Coach Aranda talked to us this week. He said one of the things we got to do better, we got to run the football. They came out, they established a run in this game, a total of 238 yards on the ground. So you make a point, you come out and get that done.
And a pair of 100-yard rushers as well tonight for the Bears, and Ebner and Abram Smith. Impressive win for Baylor. And the Bears remain unbeaten against the Sun Belt, 11-0 all time. Now the field, Cora Riggs with Dave Aranda.
And go. All right, Brant. We don't have her. Coming out to 4, and 4's up. It's fine. We don't have her, Brant. Just get us off.
We're having some audio technical difficulties down there with Coral and Dave Aranda. We apologize for that. Some Week 1 issues, but Baylor a winner, 29-20 over Texas State as the Bears improve to 1-0. The Bobcats start their year 0-1. So for Keith Moreland, I'm Brant Freeman saying so long from St. Marcus. The final score, Baylor 29, Texas State 20. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.
10, 9.
Good night.